Whoa, that was crazy. I don't know what just happened there. I was going to come up and tell you about how terrifying this event was going to be, and then the clown prince of chaos shows up and does it himself. Wow. So, are you guys okay? Yeah. If you guys are okay, let me hear you scream. Okay, let me hear you scream. This is going to be an incredible and terrifying night for all of you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here tonight, guys. We have an incredible event planned for you. We have, right now, we're going to give you an opportunity to learn a few more details about. We're going to give you an opportunity to learn a few more details about. I knew I liked you guys. We're going to give you an opportunity, to learn a few more details about the event. So right now, before the Q&A, I want to bring out Jim Timon, Senior Vice President of Entertainment for Universal Orlando, and Mike Aiello, the Creative Director of Halloween Horror Nights for Universal Orlando. Please, guys, help me welcome to the stage.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. Welcome to Halloween Horror Nights 25.
Yeah.
I'm Jim Timon. I've met some of you before, some of you I haven't. I'd like a chance to meet with you tonight. And how many of you have been with us for a few years at this event? Some of us have been here a long, long time. We're happy to have you back with us tonight. 25 years is a big, big deal for us. It's very special because this event has grown and evolved over a quarter of a century. You know, back in 1991, we started, the other night I was having an opportunity to speak to a few people, and I said, back then in 91, it seemed like a good idea at the time. It was, one haunted house, a couple of weekends, and now, 25 years later, and I'm a little biased when I say this, the biggest and the best Halloween event in the nation. Yep. Yeah, baby. I'll pause for applause right there. And now, globalized, Universal Studios Florida, where we started out back in 91, we grew and we grew and we grew. We got bigger and bigger and bigger. And some of you were with us back in 2002 when the event jumped. We moved it then to Islands of Adventure. Again, it seemed like a good idea at the time. To Islands of Fear then. And it was great. That was an awesome event when we did that in 2002. And we grew and we grew, and all of you, many of you were with us at the time when we grew that event. And we eventually got too big for Islands of Adventure. And then we kind of broke the wall between the parks, and we did kind of a multi-park kind of event for a while. And then we got bigger and bigger. And then in 2006, horror came home. And we brought the event back to Universal Studios. And that was big for us. That was awesome. And we've, again, continued to grow the event over the years. And as I said, the best Halloween event in the nation. Well, Universal has globalized the event. Beyond Universal Florida, we've grown to Universal Studios Hollywood, Universal Studios Japan, Universal Studios Singapore. We want to take over the world with Halloween. That's our... Okay, that's our secret plan. I'm revealing the secret plan here, ladies and gentlemen.
Global domination.
And you know what's great about it? As you've seen over the years, we have incredible creative staff that work on Halloween Horror Nights, and some of whom I'm about to introduce to you now. Creative people, writers, directors, producers, technicians, artists, designers, stage managers, costumers, you name it, we've got it. And that's here on staff who create some of our incredible original content that goes into Halloween Horror Nights over the years. You met a clown a little while ago that was created here. But then we're also able to reach out and work with some of the greatest creative partners in the world, in the realms of film and television, who come to us and collaborate with us and bring their great creative minds and genius to Halloween Horror Nights. And so we take our creative people here and we're able to collaborate with them and build this event into something over 25 years we never dreamed it could have been in 1991. And we have all of you that make that journey with us. And thanks for being here tonight. We couldn't have done it without you and all of the people that you bring with you that read everything that you write, that view everything that you produce. And we just thank you so much for being here with us on a special night, 25 years. Man, I feel old. But that's my introduction and welcome. My job now is to shut up and turn the microphone over to a guy whose heart and soul is truly in this event and truly behind it. Our Director of Creative Development for the Entertainment Division at Universal Orlando. Many of you know him and love him, Mr. Michael Aiello, who will take you through Halloween Horror Nights.
Oh my gosh! 25 years, Halloween Horror Nights. I've been a part of this event in some capacity since the very first year. My dad and I came to this event the first few years from 91 all the way to 96 when I started working here at Jaws. And then I was, a character, a chainsaw drill team. And so, again, this event has been really kind of a part of my core for as long as I can remember. And to be standing here representing an amazing team of people, as Jim mentioned, that are creating this event is truly humbling and a great honor. But I'm gonna be brief here on our content because we got a lot of show going on tonight. So we're gonna get to that. But we're gonna run through the maze content first, okay? All of our haunted houses this year. 9 total mazes this year. More than we've ever done in the history of the event. 5 mazes based around intellectual properties, TVs and films that that horror fans love, that we love, as well as 4 original-based mazes, our content, characters that we've created, that we've developed, environments that we've been able to weave and create into something very, very, very cool. So first up, we're going to talk about, this is unprecedented for us, a 4-time collaboration with AMC Networks and The Walking Dead. It is back. Let's hear it. We've had a really great collaboration with AMC and individuals connected with the show that you will meet later on tonight. But this maze this year is all centered around season 5. That's been the cool thing about working with that brand, is that we've been able to create a maze literally around a season that has just ended. So that's what we've done. Last year we did Walking Dead, we ended at Terminus. It literally stopped there. This year we're picking up right where we left off. You're showing up at Terminus, you're going to take the survivor's journey through key moments and environments of season 5. You're going to see Terminus, you're going to see the food bank, you're going to see the church, you're going to go into the barn during the tornado, you're going to see the aftermath. So again, every step of the way. It's going to end right where the series ended. That food truck with all the crazy rock music blaring out of it. We're going to put the guests inside that as the finale. So again, a step-by-step recreation of season 5. Very, very proud of it. Moving on, next maze. Okay, these guys are near and dear to most horror fans' hearts. And you're either a really good Freddy fan or you're a really good Jason fan. And those lines never cross. Sometimes they do. Sometimes they do. But we're bringing Freddy versus Jason to life once again at Halloween Horror Nights. We worked with this brand back in 2007 during Jack's Carnival of Carnage. We did a maze separately. So we had a maze based on Freddy and one based on Jason. Well, this year, we want to bring those guys together. The maze is literally divided into thirds. You're going to go through Camp Crystal Lake to scale. Jason's going to attack you every step of the way. Jason is freaking huge. I'm 6'2", okay? I walked through the other night during employee briefing and was like, Jason. Second third, okay, so this is the cool part. So you're in Camp Crystal Lake. Then the nightmare realm begins to take over. And the maze right in the middle literally opens up. And you're standing in front of, to scale, 1428 Elm Street. You're going to see the girls with the jump rope. You're going to hear the song. You're You're going to walk through the front door of 1428 Elm and then enter Freddy's realm. He's going to attack you every step of the way. And the last third is what the title is all about. It's the versus portion of Freddy versus Jason. You're going to see these two Goliaths of horror go at it. And we've got a lot of ways we're doing that. Live interaction, we've got some video elements that have them doing things that we couldn't possibly achieve live that will then blend back into live action elements. So again, we're really going to pay off the versus portion of that title. Very excited about it. It's Freddy and Jason. I mean, it's a dream come true to play with those characters. Next up. Oh, all right. We have not worked with this brand before. Very successful maze done in Hollywood several years ago. We have it this year. We're doing a maze based on the franchise Insidious. And you're going to see scenes from all three of the Insidious films. And much like we've done in the past with mazes like Evil Dead or Cabin in the Woods, we're going to give you the highlights of this franchise. You're going to walk through and be attacked by the lipstick demon. You're going to see the bride in black. This is one of our tent mazes, but again, we've evolved those tents over the years. You can't really tell you're inside a tent. The environments in here are amazing. At one point, it's going to open the facade for this maze. We built an actual house outside of the tent. It's enormous. When you go inside, you're going to see this amazing living room from Insidious 2. The wallpaper, this is nitpicky, really geeky stuff. But we couldn't find the right wallpaper, that it didn't exist. So we built it in Photoshop and made sure all the walls look identical to the film. The curtains
it was really expensive to do.
That's going to come out of my pay, I know it. That's okay, that's all right. But yeah, so it's a paranormal maze, which are always fun because it's a completely different texture than we normally do for, like, let's say, going through some kind of chainsaw environment. It's quieter, the house is creaking, you're hearing some songs that are featured in Insidious. So it's a really great maze, a lot of fun. Next up, The Purge. This was our most popular scare zone last year. We had it in New York. We obliterated New York with The Purge. We felt this year, let's make it a maze. Let's figure it out. So we're going to walk into environments and themes that are right out of that film. Everyone's in the maze is going to be able to express their right to release the beast and purge. So you're going to be in residential environments. You're going to be in the kill room environments. You're going to be attacked by the gangs that are in Purge 2. So every step of the way, again, recreating moments and characters that you'll recognize from that brand. Exciting. It's intense. It's a heavy metal, hard rock kind of maze. It's fun. Yeah. Next. So, we've never, ever brought a maze back identically the way we did it originally. We broke that rule for the first time for our 20th anniversary. We really felt if there was ever a year to do this, it's 25. And the maze we chose is a maze that is truly dear to our hearts. It's a maze that we worked on for years to try and create. Finally, in 2013, we were able to work with an amazing man, John Landis, who helped us bring to life an American werewolf in London. And it's back. And those wolves have never looked better. Safe to say, in the original maze, we did a great job. We're really happy with it. The wolves were created and sculpted using amazing photo reference we were provided. But we didn't have the real molds. This year, we rebuilt them from the ground up. Working with amazing makeup artists, we acquired the original molds and built these wolves from the ground up. They have never looked more authentic than they do right now. And they are ready and they are hungry. An amazing maze. Who's seen that maze in the past? How many people are here? Yeah. Amazing maze. There's a couple new things we added to it that I won't reveal. You'll see when you go through. There may be an additional wolf somewhere, I don't know. But I'm really, really happy with it. You're going into the slaughtered lamb, you're going to be attacked by the wolf, you're going to see the transformation scene, you're going to go through Piccadilly, you're going to see the finale, again, step by step, all the way through. Really, really happy with it. Next up, into the original content. Something that was really important for our 25th year is that we paid respect and homage to the characters and environments that, frankly, the fans of the event made popular. And this is true, and Body Collectors is a perfect example of this. Body Collectors was a character that was created in the final year we were in Islands of Adventure in 2005. They are these quiet, suited figures, perpetual smile, and their only purpose is to invade an area and collect body parts. Hence the title, really creative title on there. But this year we wanted to present them in a new way. Actually wanted to blend some thematics together that we hadn't done before. There's another brand called Psychoscarapy that we developed, and an asylum called Shady Brook. This year, for the first time, the Body Collectors are invading a version of Shady Brook set in the late 1800s during a blizzard. The Body Collectors invade this incredibly beautiful and gothic environment. This maze truly is gorgeous. That's always an odd term to use when relating to horror, but it really is. It's a gorgeous maze. These guys are doing their thing. Spine Girl is back. If anybody remembers that room we've done in the past, it's this amazing operating theater surrounded by the collectors. And at its center is a poor victim whose spine is being ripped out before your very eyes by one of the collectors. You're going to see that. Gorgeous maze, really gory, gothically beautiful. Moving on. Run, Blood, Sweat, and Fears. Another franchise we've done from our past. This one's a lot of fun. This is over in our the San Francisco area of the park. This is a maze that is also near and dear because the themes are something. Charles Gray is our show director. He's standing in the back over here. Let's give him a round of applause. So in developing Run, we thought, okay, let's take the title, let's really set it in a kind of 1980s type feel. Let's place guests in a game show called Run. This kind of mirrors some thematics we developed years ago when this maze first existed. It's a 1980s game show that is watched worldwide where unwilling participants are forced through a gauntlet of Reapers. And this maze is one of those mazes where we'll develop characters, these Reaper assassins that we've developed, all unique, all individual, and then we develop rooms to fit the character. So as the guests walk through, they're experiencing many different environments around these Reaper assassins. A lot of fun, has a very 1980s type feel, even down to the music and how it's scored. It's very kind of, John Carpenter-y, Casio keyboard type textures and things like that. A lot of fun. Moving on. We have Asylum in Wonderland. Thank you. Yeah. This was a scare zone back in 2008. Extremely popular. This year we decided let's take those characters and that type of thematic, let's throw it into a maze and apply some of the 3D technology that we've developed over the past 25 years. And I can safely say, if you've been to a 3D maze of ours in the past, this is the most layered and intricate 3D maze we've ever done. And it's all in the world of our twisted version of the Alice in Wonderland fairy tale. You're going to see this version of the White Rabbit, but it's more asylum penitentiary-esque. We've got dodo birds, these monstrous dodo bird creatures, literally on trampolines while you're walking through the maze. We've got some video effects in here of the Red Queen. All kinds of things we're doing to really, really F with you, frankly. The vortex is in there, so if you've experienced the vortex in the past, it's never looked better. We've never leaned more left and right going through this thing than we have this year. So we're very excited about it. Moving on. And finally, as far as our maze content's concerned, we felt there needed to be one maze that was able to encapsulate 25 years of Horror Nights history, and that's Jack Presents 25 Years of Monsters and Mayhem. This is the longest maze in the event because we had a lot of things to cram into it. You're going to experience characters and environments over our past 25 years, from Scary Tales environments to the Caretaker's Mortuary to an entire section devoted to the classic monsters. Frankenstein, Wolfman, Dracula, Phantom of the Opera, you're going to see them all. Jack is bringing all this together, so he's making surprise appearances throughout the maze. Exciting maze, gorgeous maze. It's our Soundstage 21 facility. Let's move on to the scare zones real quickly. Scare zones this year, over in San Francisco, All Night Die-In, another popular franchise. Two versions of this zone, depending on when you go through the night. At one point, this zone is going to look completely black and white with only classic characters. Norman Bates, the classic monsters. The zombies that are very Night of the Living Dead-esque will be in there. If you go a different time of the night, all colorized. You're going to see contemporary characters. Characters from The Strangers, or maybe even Freddy and Jason out there, which is also a first for us to actually present them outside of a maze. So moving on, next zone, rounding the bend over into New York, taking the inmates of Psychoscarapy and letting them loose to wreak havoc on a very serene and traditional city block party. Their bus crashed, they spilled out into the streets and have literally taken over the streets of New York. It is literally nuts out there. It's amazing. We've got all kinds of vignettes going. There's a show moment with a psychotic nurse and a really, really freaky costume contest that goes on periodically throughout the night. A lot of fun out there. We've got projections in some of the windows of New York where you're going to see people meet their unfortunate demise in the windows of the facades. All kinds of stuff going on. It's crazy. Next up, we are in Central Park, which has never looked better. Central Park, we have the Gog and Magog pumpkin totems that kind of border either end of this zone. As you're walking through, pumpkins and jars occupy the entire length of Central Park. It's beautiful. Inside are the more traditional elements of Halloween. Pumpkin characters, bats, spiders. We've developed a new character in there, these kind of insane and morbid fairies that will occupy the zone. It's what you really picture traditional and more authentic Halloween. We've got it all in Central Park. Next up, Scary Tales Scream Punk. This is an Avenue of the Stars. It's exactly what it says. We're taking fairy tale characters and doing our Horror Nights twist on them and presenting them in a very steampunk-esque look. So you're going to see the Tin Man, you're going to see Cinderella, you're going to see Snow White. Again, these fairy tale characters, but with our twist on them. And we're really taking those fairy tales and making them scary tales. It's brilliant. Next one. In Hollywood, if there was a zone that encapsulates 25 years of Halloween Horror Nights, it's this one. This is our icon zone. The major feature of this one, we have 4 elaborate vignettes that have been constructed by a guy named Nick Collins and show directed by Laura Wallace. They are these vignettes for 4 of the icons: storyteller, usher, director, and caretaker. Throughout the night, you're going to see them do what they do best, and these elaborate kill moments that occur. Many of them are recreating the commercials that aired the years those icons were created. In between those vignettes are all the characters that we can call truly iconic. Again, these are characters that our fans have made important. We're occupying the zone with tens, I think we've got 50-something people in that zone. It's amazing. So again, you're going to see a really great representation of our past. In our show content this year, of course, you can't have Halloween Horror Nights without Bill and Ted's Excellent Halloween Adventure. Now, I know every year I say there's the title, and I don't tell you anything about it. I'm going to do the same thing this year. You have to just see it. All right? I don't want to give anything away from that show because it just ruins it. You want to experience it whole. And then the final show we have this year. So you've experienced Hollywood. You've seen our icon vignettes. And then literally the environment opens up and reveals The Carnage Returns, which is this amazing main stage show that's been developed, show directed by Patrick Braillard. Amazing show. Jack is the ringmaster of the show, finding his maniacs. How many maniacs do we have in the crowd tonight? You're going to be one amongst many out there as Jack celebrates the kill, and we create these very elaborate kill-based illusion gags as Jack rips and maims and victimizes unsuspecting victims live on stage right before your very eyes. It's pyro, it's metal, it's fire. It's a rock show with Carnage and Jack the Clown. It's amazing.
It's charming, though.
It's also very charming. Sweet and serene, you're gonna love it. And that's our show content this year. But you guys are gonna experience this tonight, and everyone, our opening night, is gonna experience all these amazing things that we've taken over a year to develop and present to the greatest fans in the world of Halloween Horror Nights. But instead of me talking about it, I'm gonna end with a brief video of our employee preview we did this past night that will give you an amazing visual peek at what Halloween Horror Nights 25 has to offer. Roll it.
Seriously, you guys' passion, this trickles all the way down, and what you guys are going to experience tonight, I believe, is a fruit of these guys' passion for this event. Awesome stuff. So we are moving into the Q&A portion of tonight. However, and I know you guys have some burning questions for us, but before we begin, I would like to introduce our very special guest tonight. So, will you please help me welcome to the stage the acclaimed director of the 1981 classic horror film An American Werewolf in London, John Landis.
You get your name on the chair. You're the only one.
I want you to know that back there, the other two guests, and the three of us are in the dark standing up there, and they're saying, and this is so cool, and this is so cool, and we're like standing there and can't see anything. And then they go, and now we're going to show you this really cool video. And we said to the guy, can we see the video? No.
All right, guys, another huge round of applause for Greg Nicotero, executive producer, special effects makeup supervisor of AMC's Walking Dead.
Why does John get his own chair? I'm gonna sit right here. This chair feels really good.
Finally, guys, actor Chandler Riggs, who portrays Carl in the AMC.
Okay, full disclosure. Earlier this evening, these two guys, taped me for something else that's totally non-related and everything. And when I came on the stage to be filmed, they had this chair. And I said, take that over to the stage where we're appearing because it will piss Nicotero off.
I asked him to bring my chair over, and I got the normal chair. How was the video? Because yeah, like John said, we saw nothing.
You know, wait a moment.
What?
May we see the video? Show it again.
Can we run the video again? Is that possible?
You guys want to see the video again anyway, right?
Everyone in the booth is like, oh my gosh! I don't know if they can. Can you? Yeah, they're working on it. We stopped the show dead.
John, you screwed up the whole run of show for them.
Oh, they do it?
Everything's delayed 6 minutes now. There's a screen up there too.
Now imagine standing back there in total darkness, hearing.
That looks like the Portofino Hotel lobby to me, but still pretty cool. Hi guys.
Hey, everybody.
Everybody.
So you guys would know we will be taking your questions in a second. A member of our PR team will bring you a microphone. So raise your hand if you have a question. Right there, over there, we have one microphone. They will bring that to you. You guys can ask your question that way. Now, to start things off, this Wednesday night, we had the team member preview for this event. And I heard a lot of screams coming from the Walking Dead house. So how excited are you guys to see, this is for Chandler and for Greg, how excited are you guys to see season 5 of AMC's The Walking Dead come to life at HHN 25?
It's awesome for me because like I've gone through and like lived in, well, not lived in, but like I've gone through those places before and like interacted with the things that like, and it's just to see the environment recreated around me is a really cool experience.
You know, John said something very interesting today. We're talking about television. We're talking about the fact that when the difference between movies and TV. And TV, we're in your living room, we're in your kitchen, we're in your bedroom, we're in all these places in your house. So there's a familiarity with the material that we work on every single day. So the fact that fans that love the show get to experience it live action, that's great. I mean, you can't get any better than that. So, you know, Chandler and I, he flew down today. You know, we're still in the middle of shooting season 6, which premieres October 10th, 11th. October 11th. I gotta give a little plug. But
You're allowed.
on AMC. I'm allowed to do that?
Oh, absolutely.
All right,
Do whatever you want.
I'll give you $20 later.
Thank you, sir.
For the ad time. Sorry, guys. No, but it's been a great season. We've been working really hard. So this is a little bit of a vacation for us because we get to come down and share with you guys the experience of seeing The Walking Dead live. So it's a really great honor. So thanks for everybody for having us here.
That's it.
I'm going to interrupt again, just to piss off Jim Timon. But what I have to tell you that for me, what's extremely cool about this night, not just Halloween Horror Nights, but this night, is Greg Nicotero, who I've known for many years, was this nerdy little kid in Pittsburgh who was fascinated by makeup and horror effects.
I'm still nerdy, by the way, but that's okay.
And he came to LA and started this makeup company with two other guys called KNB. And they were the guys, I mean, they had to compete. So the first of all, they were the guys who were the cheapest. So they got a lot of work. And then they actually got better and better and better. And you know, they're the people who do all the work on Tarantino's movies, and just, these guys are great, they work all the time. And so I've known Greg for a long time, pouring plaster and sculpting and shit. If you're filming,
I should be recording this.
if you're filming me,
I'm not filming
if
you,
you're
I'm just
filming
taking a
me, I'm
picture.
not going to say anything nice.
You're not gonna say anything nice anyway.
No, what I am going to say is Greg is now, he's still a creepy little nerd, but what's interesting, no, seriously,
I'm fine with
Greg,
that.
very cool. What's cool for me is knowing him for how long? I mean, really a long time.
20 years.
Yeah, at least. And what's amazing is that Greg goes from being a gifted makeup artist, continues, he directed a little short, he goes down and keeps working, and now, you know, he's the executive producer of, what's it called, The Walking Dead? No, way more than that. How many, you've directed now, what, 14?
14.
14 hours of that show, and it's like, I'm very proud. I'm very serious. It's great.
Thanks, John. Could have done without the what's it called before Walking Dead, but that's okay.
But something else about Horror Nights is there's so much love in the event. This
one, guess what?
Let's do this. You should do this in February on Valentine's Day next year.
Wait.
Halloween. Do like Valentine's Horror Nights.
When
It'd be awesome.
when I met this one, Aiello, he was Elwood at the Universal Tour.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I'm taking full responsibility for his entire. And now you have a title. What do you call it? You have a new title.
Yeah, it's a really long one. Director of Creative Development for Universal Orlando Entertainment.
Yeah.
That's it. It's a really long business card too. It's about that long.
Yeah.
Jim, who cares? No, actually.
That's why I love you.
No, actually, I've known Jim for many years too.
20.
Well, before you were here.
Yeah, LA.
Yeah, no, it's. So I'm delighted to be here. And have you? Who has not been to Halloween Horror Nights?
Oh, excellent. All right, I'm gonna go through the maze with all of you guys. I'm gonna be right behind you. And raise your hands again. All right, dead. You'll be all right. Dead. Sorry.
But
I'm
no,
going with you. All right, we'll meet after. We're all going.
it really is a special event, mainly because of these two guys. But it really is a special event, and deeply sick.
I have one quick story I have to tell you. So we went to dinner last night. So this is, I know we're supposed to be here promoting stuff, but we're all here. I have a microphone, so sorry. Too bad for you guys. No, so we were at dinner last night, and Andy Lincoln called, and he calls, and he's always like, "Hey, Big Love, what are you doing? Woo!" And he said, "What are you up to?" And I said, "I'm at dinner with John Landis." And he said, "I wanted to be a Blues Brother when I was younger," because he's young. He wanted to be in the Blues Brothers. So I said, "Well, do you want to say hi? I'm having dinner." He was like, No, I'm way too shy. Don't put me on the spot." So I went in and I said to John, I'm on the phone with the lead of The Walking Dead, and he wants to say hello, and he's just giving his best wishes. And John was like, "Well, put him on, let me talk to him." He's like, No, don't put me on the phone. So Andy was so shy about it. I thought it was such a great moment. And then he's like, "I'm gonna go kill some zombies later, bye." Click. And hangs up. So anyway.
But we want to get some questions from you guys, so please raise your hands. We will get a microphone in your face. There we go.
Hi, my name is John Waterhouse. I'm from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. And this question is for John Landis. John, it's been more than 30 years since you made American Werewolf in London. The film is still being celebrated today, and tonight, once again, being celebrated as a maze. I mean, this has to be an incredible testament to your work as a filmmaker. How does it feel?
Strange. Honestly, the first time they did this 2 years ago, 2 years ago, and I was very happy with what they did, but I said, the wolves should be better. The wolves are good, but the wolves should be better. And then they did it in LA differently, but the wolves were great. So I said, and then when they called me and said, we'd like to do it again, really? They said, yes, because it was like so successful. I said, great, you must step up with the wolves.
When John Landis tells you to step up, you step up.
And I'm very happy to say they did. They're awesome.
They're
awesome. They really are awesome, and they have duplicated the maze, but they're more wolves. And they also changed something in Piccadilly, and I'm pretty happy with it. Although, I said this last time, what makes me crazy is people wait for like 2 hours. They're waiting forever to get in the maze, and they walk in like this, and the first scare, like, ah! And then they run! And I'm thinking, slow down!
Missing it. I learned a really interesting tidbit. Any of you here that are filmmakers or want to be filmmakers, I didn't know this about John. How old were you when you wrote the script for American Werewolf in London?
18.
18 years old. And he told, listen, I've known John for a long time. When you hang out with John Landis, a 5-minute drink turns into a 2-hour conversation, which is amazing.
Which is why Greg is drunk.
Which is why I'm drunk, but much smarter. Thank you. And he shared with me, which I'm sharing with you guys, because I think it's great, because I'm a fan and a nerd, like we said. The movie ended up being 90% of what that original.
Do you know the big change?
How great is that?
Well, no one would make the movie because it got me work as a writer, but no one would make it because they'd read it and they'd say two things. Either it was much too funny to be scary, or it was much too scary to be funny. And when you say it's both, they were like, get out of my office. It got me But the only difference in the movie, because I wrote it in '69 and I made it in '81, is in London there are no longer, but there used to be what were called cartoon cinemas, which were small movie theaters. There was the Arrows Theater in Piccadilly Circus, which is now a Gap store.
Yes, it is.
There was one in Marble Arch, and one in Victoria Station, and one in Trafalgar Square. And what they were they showed cartoons. They showed really good prints of Warner Brothers, and they're really good. This was before home video. So when I was working in London, I worked on a James Bond movie called The Spy Who Loved Me. So I was there a long time. I didn't direct it. I'm one of the many writers. You know who I worked with for 3 months?
See what I mean?
Anthony Burgess. Tony Burgess, I worked with for 3 months. It was very exciting. Anyway, I used to go to the cartoon cinemas because it was the only way you could see like Chuck Jones or Tex Avery or Bob Clampett, good prints of those cartoons. And so when I wrote it, the scene in this was a cartoon cinema. It's exactly the same scene, only they were showing a Roadrunner cartoon. And the scene where he's changing and the bum is there, it was supposed to be little children looking at me. It's made it creepier, I thought. So I finally, in 1981, I get the money, I go to London. Most of the cartoon cinemas are closed, and the Arrow Cinema is a porno. So I said, all right. So that's the only difference. Other than that.
Another question? I didn't know. Another question over here? Yeah.
Hi guys, John Ullman, Tampa Tribune. This is actually for both of you. You guys are icons as far as practical effects. Like you filmed the greatest werewolf transformation ever. And you have gotten things on TV, Greg, that no one would have ever imagined could be done. How important is it to have something like Halloween Horror Nights for the younger generation, for them to be able to experience practical effects up close and personal instead of CGI?
Listen, that's a great question. I mean, on The Walking Dead, the thing that is the most exciting for me is it opens practical makeup effects for a younger generation. I grew up watching Dawn of the Dead, Creepshow, John's movies, The Thing. So I was really inspired by practical effects. So now when Chandler and I go to like a Walking Dead convention, I will have 10-year-old, 12-year-old kids coming up to me saying, I want to do what you do. And to me, that's me giving back, because I had that opportunity when I met Tom Savini in I don't even remember it was, 78 or 79. So for me, the fact that these guys, Mike Aiello and the amazing makeup team here, they get a chance to do it over and over again. And it's hard. Listen, when you do a movie, when we do a zombie kill or something, that zombie's on screen for maybe 3 hours. We shoot for 3 hours and then they get cleaned up and then we go home. But here, they gotta do it 6, 7 hours every day for 30 days. It's a different kind of mindset. But for me, it's a tremendous compliment that the work that I love, that I grew up wanting to do, is being celebrated more and more. Halloween is like Christmas. Like, you get 30 days of it. Christmas is one day, Christmas presents, and you're done. You eat turkey, you're full, you go to a movie. Now you get 30 nights, you can get scared over and over again, and these guys offer up multiple opportunities. You can go to 3 mazes one night, you can go to another maze another night, you just keep reliving the scares, and that's what makes it fun. And with these mazes, especially the Walking Dead maze that Chandler and I just went through, you go through it 2 or 3 times, you see something you didn't see the first time. It's like watching a good movie, you see it a few times, and then you go through again, and it's like, oh, I didn't see that the last time, and you enjoy it more. You know, and then you're like, oh, they can't scare me, and then something else scares you. So.
That actually brings up an interesting question. If I'm correct, Chandler, is this your first time at Universal Orlando's Halloween Horror Nights?
Yeah.
So, what did you think of walking through the Walking Dead house, seeing it? Like, what were some of your thoughts? What were some of your favorite moments?
Yeah, it was so cool just to like see all the walkers again actually like scaring me, because usually it's just like, you know, they're just zombies on the set. It's like not that big of a deal, but then when they're actually like there and scaring you,
The zombies are at craft service.
yeah.
It's true. There's like they're eating popsicles and they're hot and they're sweaty and.
When you guys also did a lights on of American Werewolf, right?
You know, here's the truth, and I was upset when they went through it. I said, why did you take Jim? Wait till the dark. Because these mazes, for me, they're like strip clubs or bars. It's supposed to be dark when the lights are on.
Okay, so next year on the Halloween Horror Nights posters, I expect to see they're like strip clubs or bars, John Landis. That should be in every ad.
Segment of the audience.
No quotes, John Landis, director of Animal House.
Well, to add to what Greg said, what I like about what these guys do in Halloween Horror Nights, in fact, theme parks in general, what I enjoy is the theatrical part of it. The fact that it's live theater. It's literally live. They now call it immersive theater, but it's legit. It's live theater, and they do song and dance. They do, you know, it's not just boo. They're creating ambiance, they're building sets, they're doing, and for the people working here, it's quite an opportunity to get some chops, you know, to learn your job. And to experience live theater, it's something. I mean, for me, that's the most impressive thing. I mean, how many people are put on for Halloween Horror Nights?
In total, like who we employ for the
Yeah.
event?
About 1,200 a night, per night.
Wow.
Per night, I mean, just for this, 12, and you know, 800 of them were like, no, made up and stuff. And
Then there are the scared.
when I was here 2 years, is that guy here, is that dentist here, that guy, the lawyer, the guy who comes in?
Oh no, not this year, but no, that's
The lawyer is the scariest guy here, by the way.
No, tell
I'm quite
me, no.
sure.
The lifeblood of the event are the characters that occupy the main
Characters.
TM. You know what?
We have lawyers in the room who are watching.
No, they left a long time ago.
Oh, John Landis is here.
Plausible deniability.
But so John, you think that I ruined it for, because, you know, here, all right, so let me ask a question.
I don't think you ruined it for him, because he's an actor.
That's what you said backstage.
I think you ruined it.
No, but coming from a special effects background, and all of you guys know, part of the fun is peeking behind the curtain. When I get to come down here, I love going through the mazes with the lights on because I get to see the artistry.
Yeah, but you're a professional.
So is he.
Here's a good point, though. No,
That's it.
I'm now going to be referee.
But you bring up a good point, though, because we, not only do we run the event 30 nights, but we also offer lights on daytime tours
I hate it.
of the mazes. But here's the thing. People enjoy.
Mike, disengage.
Oh,
You're never gonna win.
wait, the guy
We
from,
could do this all night.
The guy from Atlanta? Do you know
John.
what I learned about Chandler just earlier back there? I think this is so cool. I said, where do you live? And where do you live?
Atlanta. I like north of Atlanta.
What was the town? Where are you from?
It's called Woodstock.
From Wood.
If one person didn't go, woo, I would have been pissed.
But she's the other Woodstock. She's having an acid flashback. but what's so cool is I said, wait a minute, you live there? He goes, yes. I said, how long have you been on the show? 5 years. Were you local hire? Yes. How cool is that? Isn't that neat? So when they did the pilot, they hired, how old?
10?
10, and now you're?
16. So it's been 5 years since 2010.
Oh, okay.
We gotta do math up here.
I personally found that very cool, because he's a good actor.
Very good.
Well, you guys, yes. You guys may not know, we are actually live streaming tonight, so we do have a question from social media.
Live streaming today?
Now you tell me.
I wanted you guys to feel really sheepish at this point.
You back up and start over.
We have a question from Facebook though, from Kristen Marissa Moya. Jim, how about you take this one? Talking about the construction, we've been talking about the lights on stuff. How long does it take to construct a haunted house, and what's the process like?
How long to construct?
To construct.
Construct, okay.
Yeah.
Construction actually begins about May 1st, or ish, right around May 1. So from May 1 to the opening of the event, you're looking several months. Design process from concept on, we're in concept now on next year's event. So opening night is tonight, we're already in concept on 2016, can't tell you what it is. It'll be awesome, trust us. But physical construction starts May 1 on haunted houses. So it's a huge, long process. You can imagine building 9 of them. Everything that goes in, from scenic, all the decor, the special effects, lighting, audio, video in many cases. It's a long, long process. It takes hundreds.
Halloween for us literally is year-round, over 365 to create.
I just want to say there should be a maze of this panel next year. I would go through it every day.
More questions? More questions?
Down front.
Yeah. There we go.
Hey guys, thanks for joining us. Aaron Segers with Blaster.com. Hey, how are you?
Hi, Aaron.
Good to see you. Good to see you. I'm curious, now that you've seen what is possible through these excellent guys at Halloween Horror Nights, what's maybe some movies, classic, modern, whatever, that you would like to see transformed into maze form?
You're asking them?
No, them, yeah. Well, you guys can weigh in as well, but yeah, them.
Chandler, what do you think? What maze do you want to see?
Pretty cool to see Dawn of the Dead.
Dawn of the Dead. There you go. Original Dawn.
You could have zombies and shop.
You know, and that's a great idea because all the merchandise for Halloween Horror Nights could be in the maze. That you could grab stuff. That's a brilliant idea. See, I would, Mike and I were talking about this earlier because I would love to see an Exorcist one. Just because of the movies that scared me when I was a kid. That movie just still. And then I think, of course, if we went a little wackier again in the 80s, talking about 80s, I would say we should do an Escape from New York maze, which would be really cool. It's not necessarily scary, but you can, of course, these guys would add cool scares. So
Awesome.
I know from them this is super geeky, and we'll probably, I don't know, we'll see one day. But I love with an immense passion Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Kyoto Brothers.
I love that movie so much. Cotton candy cocoons.
I thought you were going to say I Love Lucy for a minute.
We have another question over here.
Yep, right over here.
I have an easy one for the Walking Dead crew. My favorite show on TV right now is Walking Dead. So when you get off the set, what's your favorite show?
You know, I've been really into The Flash. You know, I don't know why, like, my dad watched it for a while and told me to get into it, and then I just watched like 16 episodes one day. And then like another 8 the next day. But I really enjoyed it. It's coming back on in like 2.5 weeks. I'm very excited.
I would say Game of Thrones for sure. As a matter of fact, I was at the Emmys last week, and I got to talk to the makeup people on Game of Thrones and American Horror Story and all my friends. And we were so excited about each other's shows that we didn't care that we both lost. It was a Game of Thrones I love. American Horror Story one, actually, which I've never. I hate to say I've never seen it, but they're great makeups on that show. I love Homeland. I love The Americans. I just, there's so much great stuff on TV. There's, everybody talks about, and John and I talked about this earlier. The stuff that we're able to do on TV now, some of the makeup effects and the gags that we do, George Romero got an X rating on the original Dawn of the Dead because it was so gory, and we're doing more on TV than he could do in the theaters in 1977. Wow. So it's pretty fascinating.
And AMC is commercial television. That's what's so remarkable. I mean, HBO, Game of Thrones is cable, not as pay TV, so they can be extreme stuff. But that's commercial television. And it's true. Their gags on Walking Dead, that if it was in a feature film, you'd get an R and then C-17.
Good question, thank you.
Awesome. Another question here?
This will be more for Jim and Mike. Last year, I walked into the maze that had the dollhouse, and it smelled like Play-Doh, and that was just so creepy. Talk about how you assault all 5 senses. Well, you've said it perfectly. I mean, that's the one thing we want to do with the guests as they're going through the mazes, and try to attack as many senses as possible. Yeah. So smells are incredibly important. One of the coolest days that the team gets to experience every year is what we call Smell Day, and there is
It's not cool.
Oh, it's awesome. Where we have a vendor who is, she's a scientist. She creates smells, and she has a briefcase she'll bring in with all kinds of smells, from pumpkins to cupcakes to cookies to...
He's giving you all the good ones.
Yep, because then in the bowels of this suitcase is a smaller suitcase made out of metal.
Why it's called the bowel.
And she then opens up, and it contains all of the most horrific things you could possibly think of. This woman also does work with the military and law enforcement to train them in certain types of smells. So she can actually chart rates of decay and give a certain smell for each one. So that's some of the research that goes into some of the items that we place in a maze when we want to. Not all the time, because if we do it in every maze, then it's not nearly as special as when, if you smell it in several mazes as opposed to all of them. But yeah, it's a smell day, and it's one of many days in our process.
So on Walking Dead, every day is smell day. It's 120 degrees. Every day is
beans
smell
for
day.
lunch.
Yes.
Gosh, that's awesome. We another one from Twitter. Actually, I just love this question so much. Mike, why don't you take this one? What was the most difficult scene from a house or scare zone to pull off this year? I think that might highlight something cool.
Wow, that's a hard question. 3D mazes, rather than a scene, a 3D maze is a completely different creative process than all of the other 8 mazes. 3D employs all kinds of different aesthetics that we have to employ in order to lay the color palette out, to create the layers necessary with the glasses that the guests wear, so that we are ensuring that when you're going through, you are seeing depth. So that's a very tough type maze to create, because also it's a maze that's entirely lit. We're not afforded the luxury of doing things in darkness and then illuminating where we want. A black light maze has to be completely illuminated in some fashion for all of that to work. So 3D mazes, I think, in my opinion, and I'm sure...
You call them 3D mazes, but you mean blacklight mazes.
Yeah, the 3D is easy with the palette.
Chromadesk, yeah, 3D,
Okay.
But I'm sure every person on our team would probably have a different...
What's that 3D maze? Are you wearing glasses in the 3D?
You are.
Yeah, no, but why?
Because the glasses actually, depending on the color palette, create depth. So certain colors...
So it is 3D.
It is. Certain colors...
Okay, so there are 8 mazes this year now. Only 8. John just shut one down.
I've never been in one of those because I said, "What is that?" They go, "What's cool? It's all black light." And I'm like, "Eh."
Yeah, but how the colors play out, there's depth. Certain colors pull forward.
There's now 7 mazes. The American Werewolf maze. At the end of that, the Walking Dead maze, the only one you can go.
We have another question.
Are they all?
They are. We've done some homework, John.
Right.
Okay, well, there you go. I'm glad I came.
Here we go, right up here.
Yeah, I had a question for John. I wanted to ask this a couple of years ago, but I kind of Andrew Lincolned out. I'm over here, right here. Hi. I think we'd all agree that the special effects in American Werewolf in London hold up to this day. And I'm curious how you feel about directors going back to old films like Spielberg with E.T. and Lucas with basically every movie he's ever done, going back and redoing the special effects. And were you ever tempted to go back and do that with any of your films?
Well, first of all, they wouldn't let me, so that's different. George owns his movies, so he can do what he wants. But that was totally not where I thought you were going. I thought you were going like practical versus CG, and I had this great answer. But then
But tell the story you told me backstage about the scene with the bums that you.
no.
Don't tell that.
No, you know what? No, because
That's a terrible story anyway.
it's not to the point. But no, I actually think that my personal opinion is that George hurt his movies by doing what he did. However, George said to me, "But they're my movies," and I thought, well, that's fair. However, did you know Disney, by the way, is putting out the original Star Wars the way it was and stuff? So
I didn't know that.
yeah, so well, they're like money on the floor, you know.
I think they're like 30 miles from here, by the way.
We're on a 7-second delay, right, on the live stream? 7-second delay.
We're live to the word. Yeah, live to the.
Let's go ahead and hit that a
Wait,
couple
I
times.
like Universal, like, we're not. The truth is that, yeah, if I could, I don't think I've ever made a great film. I've made very successful films, and I've made some films I like more than others. In all my movies, there are things I like in them. But for instance, Coming to America is a movie I made with Eddie Murphy. And Coming to America is the fastest movie ever made. From the day they said you got what's called a green light, to the day it opened in theaters was less than 6 months. And I might add, there was no script when we got a green light. And I've made 2 movies that way, where both Paramount for one and Universal, the Blues Brothers, where they say, same thing. Can you have this movie in theaters by August? And you always say yes. You know why? Because it means no budget. Because you're in production. So that's, so I was able to, like Coming to America, there's a big dance number because I could, It's like, and I've never on the Blues Brothers, there's a famous moment where we're in Chicago shooting, and Ned Tannen, the head of production of Universal at the time, came out with this thing, said that that's a $12 million movie. And Bob Weiss, the producer, looked at me and he said, we've spent more than $12 million. I've never forgotten. Anyway, Coming to America, because it was made so fast, we literally were cutting negative, scoring, and mixing during principal photography. And the day it opened in about 4,000 theaters was less than 3 weeks from the last day of shooting. So we were locking picture. And so it meant, one, I never had a preview. I mean, just boom, went out, because those were prints those days. We had to give Technicolor 2 weeks to make all those prints. But the other thing is, that drives me crazy, that movie, because I think I like it, but I think it's too slow. I'd like to take maybe 15 minutes out of it, like speed it up, just just speed it up. So in fact, when it was going to be on Blu-ray, I asked Paramount, and I said, would I be able to do it? They looked at it, I'll never forget. I won't tell you the man's name, but he said, "John, the movie's made over $600 million. No."
We have another question? Right over here. Okay. It's going to be right there.
Mine. This is for Greg Nicotero. First of all, thank you very much for The Walking Dead. It is my favorite show on television by far. And I've been a zombie geek for decades now, and for a long time it was almost like Romero was pretty much the only game in town for really good stuff. And my question for you is, do you feel like you are a continuation of that legacy, or is there some kind of maybe competition of trying to top that?
Well, you know, excuse me, my first job was Day of the Dead in 1984. That was my first gig. So George gave me my first job. I love those movies. I never saw any sort of competition, but if you look at the Walking Dead comic book, it certainly borrows religiously from Night of the Living Dead. So I'll never forget when we wrapped season 1, Frank Darabont and I were talking, and he said, "Do you think George would ever come down and direct an episode of The Walking Dead?" And I called George, and he said, "You know," he goes, "you have your zombie stuff and I have mine, and it's cool, and I have my world and you have, they're different worlds." And I certainly respected that. I would have loved to have had him come down and shoot an episode. But the stories have diverged, and if you really think about it, the advantage that we have is we've had, by the end of this season, I think we will have had 83 hours to tell a zombie story. You go to movies and you see it's 2 hours. You have to do everything that we're doing in 2 hours. So the fact that you get to delve into these great character moments makes it better. So having the first zombie show on television was a stroke of genius by Frank and Gail Ann Hurd, because you can tell this story in a continuing saga, hour after hour after hour. And that's something that these guys, when they were making the movies in the 80s, you never had that luxury to tell a story that long. So I think it has done a tremendous amount for the horror genre, for the zombie genre, because now zombies are pop culture. You know, there's commercials and there's video games and there's
Zombies are
nights.
the monster of the zeitgeist, right? You know, for the last 5 years, it's all zombie, all that. Look at the Republican debates.
There it was. We're actually going to do a question, gentleman next to you. Oh, okay. Well, then, then we'll get another question from Twitter. This is from @Vican1213. Mike, you can grab this one. What are some tips for a first-time Halloween Horror Nights attender?
So if you're coming to the event for the very first time, and this is the year doing it, you couldn't...
Sensible shoes.
Yes. Yes, comfortable footwear, and this couldn't be a better year for you to experience the event, because you're really going to get a nice cross-section of our past. From I think the first maze you should go in line and stand in is our 25th anniversary maze. That single maze is going to give you a great table of contents of a lot of the environments and characters that our amazing team of people have created over the past 25 years. But even before that, definitely listen to John, Sensible Shoes.
Another question from the audience? One, maybe two more we got.
Right here.
Got one there?
Hi, this question is for Chandler, kind of unrelated to Horror Nights, but referring to the pudding scene in The Walking Dead, did you actually like pudding, and if after, did you not like it anymore?
I don't really eat much pudding. I never really did. But I mean, it wasn't bad pudding. Did a pretty good job. No, I wouldn't say that I like pudding anymore after that.
I tried to limit the number of takes to 72. We had 19.
Did you direct that episode?
I directed that episode. We had 19 jars of pudding, and the props guy, John Sanders, was like, "How many jars do you think we'll need?" I was like, I think I even went to you at the beginning and went, "We'll just try to keep this simple." Because he had to sit there and take 4, and it was a very complicated shot because it was a techno crane shot. So the shot, you know, we had to operate this crane, and the crane had to go up and see his shoes and him eating the pudding, and then the zombie arm behind him. So it wasn't just, you know, it wasn't a simple shot. It was a little technical. So yeah, I'm glad that we were smart about that.
And I think we have time for one last.
Do you know what? Can you do 2 more? Because that guy's gonna raise it.
But she needs one too.
Well, thank you.
Do it at the same time. No.
This is, I guess, specifically for Mike, with all your history and years with this event, and now 25 being unleashed. Any desire to put on some makeup and a costume and get out there for one last scare?
One night a year, we all, the show direction team, and I think, yeah, some of us go out and perform in the event. I was in the Purge Zone last year for a night. Laura, where did you go? Did you do it last year?
I didn't do it last year.
No? You've done it before, though.
The last time I did it was Iowa. I was a vampire.
Yeah. So yeah, but you know, I was Jack the Clown for 2000. I was one of the Jacks in the zones in 2000. So, but I can't compete with.
You want to know a cool secret? But there's a thing called Comic-Con in San Diego, which is now huge. But it used to be when my first movie premiered at the second Comic-Con. There were like 600 people. But anyway, when you go to Comic-Con now, if you have any celebrity, you really can't walk the floor. Because it's like everybody who'd recognize you in one place. So I was with Adam Savage and, actually I shouldn't say, I was with some famous people, recognizable people.
They were on Mythbusters.
We really wanted to go see stuff, and you can't. Well, I'll tell you, Guillermo del Toro, I mean, a bunch of guys. And so we all basically got these very cool monster masks. And so we would, so I didn't want to say anything, but incredibly famous people are here tonight playing monsters. You won't know. But so don't say anything to offend any of them. But there's a Texas Chain song, but I won't say anything. Just platinum album. That's all.
Yeah, just say 2 words. Mission Impossible. He's out there somewhere.
I think we do have time for 2 more questions, so one right over here.
You did
it! I did it! Finally. Thank you guys for coming out here. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
We'll appreciate it, I'm sure. My name is Krista Thompson with thefairytaletraveler.com, and I've got a question. Thefairytaletraveler.com.
The Fairy Tale Traveler.
Geek, travel, and lifestyle.
This is for fictional people, or is this for...
Geeky people who love to travel and watch TV and films. So my question is for you, Chandler. I think you are phenomenal. At such a young age, starting out The Walking Dead, serious pressure in that role, like the drama, amazing. My question is, as you evolve, do you ever find yourself interested in production, like, your talent? So do you ever find yourself saying, man, I really want to make some zombies, or be on the other side, direct, producing, sound, anything like that? Do you ever find any of those things amazing?
Yeah. I mean, when the first season that I was on the show, Galen Hurd, who's one of the executive producers of Walking Dead, I can't remember what the context of the conversation was. She said, when you're 16, you can direct an episode if you want to.
When you're 16?
Yeah. And so.
Where was Gillian Hurd when you were 16?
But yeah, and I think it'd be really cool to direct an episode, and that's awesome. I've been loving Greg's work, and I've been thinking about kind of shadowing him for an episode or 2.
Totally. I get to see the next episode I direct. I'll try to get out of my trailer, and the door will be locked. And I'll be like, what's going on? And I hear Chandler on set, and action! What the hell? I can see it coming. Tuesday morning. All right. That was a great question. Thank you.
And they're going to find out what
you were worth the wait.
One last question.
Somebody very enthusiastic.
You got to be really excited about this one.
Not excited.
Right there? That's got to be it.
Now he's in
that is the guy who's...
Pressure's on, man. This question better be great.
Better be good.
It's not great. It's okay.
We'll make it great. John will make it great.
It is for John.
Good.
John, your son Max is sort of one of the up-and-coming screenwriters of Hollywood these days. I mean, he has Victor Frankenstein coming out, which seems like more of an action movie. But I'm kind of wondering if there's going to be a great Son of Landis horror movie somewhere down the line?
I have no idea. Max, my son, like my wife Deborah and I have 2 kids, and one of them is Max. Max has been writing scripts. He was dysgraphic, which means like all your doctors, you can't read their writing at all. And he really had problems with it when he was little. And so he worked with a thing called an Alpha Smart, which essentially was a keyboard. And so, which resulted in him at the age of 7, he could type faster than anyone in the world. And when he was 8 years old, they came out with a program called Final Draft, which now everyone uses, and I bought it for him. And Max has been writing screenplays since he was 8 years old, and he's written hundreds. And he always had, when he was little, he had the best titles. One was called Days of the Worst. One was Love and Trouble. My favorite was Yelp and Dopey. Anyway, he's always been a writer, and he's a wonderful writer. I mean, he really is.
He's the real deal.
He's the real deal, and so damn prolific, it's annoying. I mean, he just churns it out. Listen, he's got 5 films that opened this year. American Ultra already came out, and a movie called Mr. Right. By the way, I've seen none of them.
I saw American Ultra, it was good.
American Ultra I saw, it's really good actually, but the Chronicle, his film was really good. He's got Victor Frankenstein.
2 TV shows he's doing.
Well, he's now running a show, another version, oh man.
Is it,
Douglas Adams, Dirk Gently.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Which they're about to start shooting. But he's amazing, and he's totally, by the way, he's completely done this by himself. When he was a teenager, like 13, 14, I used to take scripts and go in LA and say to agents, really, you should look at my son, like, you should read this. And it was fascinating because, I guess because he was my son, or I don't know why, I couldn't get him an agent. No, because they don't read, they were like, that's one of the reasons why they're making so many graphic novel movies now. Because they look at it and go, oh, I see what it is. Anyway, but Max is amazing. And I haven't seen Victor Frankenstein, but he wrote it as Frankenstein. It stars Daniel Radcliffe and James McAvoy and that beautiful girl from Downton Abbey. I don't know her name. Who? The oldest daughter, the really elegant one with the dark hair. The one.
Michelle Dockery.
I don't know.
Michelle
No, not
Dockery.
Cinderella.
Michelle Dockery.
Yeah, Michelle, thank you, her. Anyway, and it was directed, it's British, it was all British production. And I haven't seen it, I don't know anything about it, except that it was the best script I've ever read. And I really, and not only was it the best script I ever read, but it pissed me off, because I said, man, why wouldn't you think of showing this to me? And what people all the time say to me, why don't you have he's very hot now, and they say, why don't you have your son Max write you a script? And I answer truthfully, I can't afford Max. The good news is he's off the payroll. Bought his own house, his own car. But he's insane and brilliant. And you've known him for years. Wait, okay, listen to this. So Max was at the University of Miami for, I think, 2 years or a year and a half. During which time, on his own, he got an agent and a manager. Anyway, tell the story.
Oh yeah, well, I had met Max. There was a friend of ours was doing a documentary, so we went down about being a kid that's a fan of the monster genre, and we were interviewing Max for the documentary. And after we got done, he said, yeah, so thanks, I gotta move. My dad's picking me up in 2 days because I'm flying back home. Can you help me move my couch to the dumpster out front? I went, yeah, okay. So we picked up his couch, awful, college couch, awful, and carried it to the dumpster. That's the first time I met him, and we've been friends ever since. He's just a really cool kid, and obviously you're a proud dad.
I'm very proud and nervous all the time.
There were probably 9 scripts in that couch, by the way. I would have gone into the dumpster.
I'm not exaggerating. He wrote a script like 2 weeks ago. He writes too fast. It's really kind of annoying, because it's like, here, Dad, read this. Wait, when did you write this? the last 4 days. It's like, what? And I read it's called Deeper. It's so cool. They've sold it already. It's going to be made.
I think we do have one last question. There it is, quickly.
Hey everybody, thank you so much for 10 amazing years you've been inviting us back. I'm Richard Dunham from Channel 4. We don't have an affiliation, but we are the, hold it, local station. Jim, we missed you this morning. Mr. Ayala did a fantastic job for filling in. Mr. Landis, thank you for 45 amazing years of movies that have become the lexicon and interwoven into all of my communication. But I'm not here for just me. Greg, met this morning, had a chance to talk, and I told you that I got a good buddy that is huge into your movies. By the way, I want to skip you over Chandler. It's like watching an Olsen twin grow up in a horror movie. It's freaking awesome. I can't wait till you get facial hair. It's gonna be...
His voice is deeper than Andy Lincoln's though, just so we know.
But my good buddy here, Ryan, last day with us as a director, he's moving on to a brand new show, but he's told me everything about you. One question for you, Greg, is that you have credits on both Boogie Nights and Goldmember.
Yes, exactly.
What were those parts? And my final question to you, and as you said in the very beginning, you have the microphone so you kind of control the audience. If I hold this microphone long enough, may my friend Ryan, a huge horror fan nerd, come up and take a selfie with you.
Of course, well listen, he can do that anyway, no problem. We'll do
Ryan, go take a picture. Now, which members did you work on?
Wait, Ryan, he promises to stay here when they're finished. And then come up, okay? Don't do it now. Thank you.
Boogie Nights, yes. Goldmember, you know, we got a call from Paul Thomas Anderson to make a prosthetic. There's kids probably around here somewhere, so I can't really get into too much detail, Chandler. He's not a kid anymore, but you know what I mean. But I have to say, one of the oddest things is, for about 10 years, people would introduce me as, "This is Greg Nicotero, he made the penis in Boogie Nights." That was my opening line. And I'll never forget, I was with Dana Gould. Sorry, we're live streaming, right? Yeah, I know. See that? Turn that shit off. Sorry. But, I was at a Simpsons table read with a friend named Dana Gould, who's a brilliant comedy writer, and he was one of the writers in The Simpsons, and he invited me down, and I sat and listened to all the actors read the script. It was one of the greatest moments to watch them do all the voices. And so Dana introduces me to all the actors afterwards, and that's how he introduced me. "This is Greg, he did the penis in Boogie Nights." And I, at one point, said to Frank Azaria, "I've done other movies too. I've done a couple other things. I did The Green Mile, I did Dances with Wolves," but nobody cared. They just wanted, fortunately, thanks to Walking Dead, now I have 2 things I can talk about. Richard, thank you. It was very nice what you said today. And I just want to say, everybody, this has been really fun. Thank you guys all for being enthusiastic and listening to our silliness up here. Thanks.
Awesome, guys. We are going to wrap it up. Thank you, guys. Please give them a huge round of applause. Jim Tyler, John Landis, Chandler Riggs, Greg Nicotero. Incredible, guys. Thank you so much for being up here. We're going to get you guys out to the event. So, basically the way this is going to work is I will call your number, and then it will also be displayed on the screen, and you will meet your tour guide to the sides of the stage, or come down to the stage when your number is called.